ఏంటి హోల్డ్ అంటుంది.
అది హోల్డ్ అంటే ఇది కిందికి పక్కన ఇది కిందికి ఈ హోల్డ్ బటన్
హోల్డ్. Let's start with a prayer. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatim Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Yeshkarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashranvannotibhis Sridhasadanam. Om Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namah. Om Vrishabham Chashaninam Vishwarupamadavyam Brihadspatim Varenyam. Om Tad Vishno Paramam Padam Sada Pasyanti Suraya Vivivachakshuratatam. Om Aim Hrim Shrim Klim Hasau Jagat Prasusyai Namah. Everybody say after me, Hare Ramakrishna 3 times. Om Hare Ramakrishna, Hare Ramakrishna, Hare Ramakrishna. Okay, welcome back after almost a month. Yeah, to 3 weeks. After 3 weeks. Last Sunday I was here, but I went to Jyothishya during the weekend. I wasn't sure when I will be back, so I just cancelled the class. I ended up coming back on Saturday itself, but I couldn't reconvene the class, so we didn't have the class. Shashanka Garu was just giving me a feedback that another prediction that the class made together has come true. Apparently, sometime back we saw his chart and told him that in the February time frame there is a chance for job change, and he said that he got an offer that he could not refuse. So congratulations to the class. We will continue our discussion on Narayana Dasha. I will tell you a new technique basically for judging the Dasha in Narayana Dasha, which gives consistent results. Before I do that, do you have any questions so far?
In Narayana Dasha, looking divisional charts.
Yeah.
We have to see that where that Lord is there, or I was not sure. Suppose Narayana Dasha starts from Pisces.
Yeah.
Then in the case of when you jump to divisional chart, say Navamsha.
Yeah.
So we go and see where from the Rashi or the Lord of that house where it is.
Are you talking about the computation of Narayana Dasha?
No, how to read.
How to read the Narayana Dasha?
Yeah.
So when software tells you that there is Aries Narayana Dasha running in the Dashamsha.
That's correct.
Okay.
So
you are asking whether you should take that as the Lagna,
or we should take the Lord of that house as the Lagna.
You don't take either the sign or the Lord of the sign as Lagna.
Okay.
That sign is basically the progression of the 10th Lord. For example, take Dashamsha Narayana Dasha.
Okay.
How did we get Dashamsha Narayana Dasha? We took the 10th Lord of the Rashi chart, which is what does 10th Lord show? It shows the intelligence that you are applying towards your work. So it basically shows your work, the intelligent part of your work. So you are taking that physical work that you are doing and then placing the 10th Lord in the Dashamsha chart and seeing influences on him. So you are progressing him. So at any given point of time, the Dashamsha Narayana Dasha that is running right now, that will show the work that you are doing. So you can't use that as Lagna and judge, just like in the case of Rashi Narayana Dasha. In the case of Rashi Narayana Dasha, the Narayana Dasha sign is the progression of the Lagna. It is starting from Lagna or 7th house. So you take the Narayana Dasha sign as Lagna and judge how various planets are placed. But in the case of Dashamsha Narayana Dasha, the Narayana Dasha sign is not the Lagna. And even its Lord is not the Lagna. It is simply the progression of the 10th Lord. So you take the Dashamsha Narayana Dasha sign and you use that to see what are the influences on his career at that point of time. So that sign basically shows the work that he is doing. So see what are the various influences. And in a future class, we will go deeper into the divisional charts and Narayana Dasha of the divisional charts. For today and maybe a couple more classes, we will just focus on the Rashi chart and the Narayana Dasha of the Rashi chart. And today what I will do is, so far we have been looking at the Antardashas in every Mahadasha, and we have been judging the results based on the Dasha Pravesh Chakra. I will give you a new technique which gives consistent results. So let me take my chart as example. April 4, 1970, 5:47:13 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and the place is Machilipatnam, India, 81 East 8, 10 North 10. So let us see the Narayan Dasha of the Rashi chart. Can you read this, or is it too small? Too small? Can you read it now? Okay. So first it will be a little bit tricky, but once you practice the use of the rule, it will become clear. But in the beginning it will be a little bit tricky, so pay attention in the beginning. The rule is, see, we know that, suppose I am running Aries Dasha. We know that Aries is capable of giving various results. For example, Aries is the 8th house, right? So it will give the 8th house results. And Lord of Aries is Mars. He wants 3rd and 8th houses. So it can give 3rd and 8th house results. Lord of Aries is in 8th house. So it can give 8th house results again. I mean, in this case it's the same house, but Lord could be in another house. So based on the sign occupied by the Lord, there can be different results. Based on the houses owned by the Lord, there can be different results. Based on which sign it is, there can be different results. Based on which house it is, there can be different results. And moreover, this sign contains so many planets. And so many other planets are aspecting it by Rashi aspect. So all those planets can give their own results. So you have like 9 or 10 different results that are possible in the Aries Dasha. You do any Dasha, you take any sign. For example, take Cancer Dasha. What are the results possible? You can get the 11th house results because it is the 11th house from Lagna. And you can get the results of 6th house because its Lord Moon is in the 6th house. And you can get the results of Moon and Rahu because they are aspecting that sign. So there are these possible results, various possible results. And if you take, for example, Leo Dasha, you can get the 12th house results because it is 12th house from Lagna. You can get the 10th house results because it is 10th house from Arudha Lagna. You can get the 7th house results because its Lord is in 7th house from Lagna. The Lord of Leo, Sun, is in the 7th house. And you can get Ketu's results because he is occupying that sign. You can get 3rd house results because Ketu is the 3rd Lord and he is in that sign. And you can get all the results of all these planets, Mercury, Mars, Venus, Saturn and Jupiter, because they all have Rashi Drishti, sign aspect on Leo. So, if you enumerate various possible results in the Leo Dasha, you have 10 results. So, when will each particular result be experienced? All the results will not be experienced for the entire Leo Dasha. When is Leo Dasha? 2007 to 2012, the 5 years. Not every result will come in those 5 years. There will be one result that comes at the beginning, one result that comes at the end, one result that comes in a particular month. So we want to be able to find out exactly when each of those influences on the Narayan Dasha sign will give its result. So there are some rules for that. There are some clear rules for that, and we'll go through those rules now. Yes, Yeshua, you have a question?
Okay, when you said different houses, like for example, as you said, we give result of the 7th house or 10th house or 11th house and so on. But they all correspond to different aspects of things. Like for example, if you are looking at the gains, then he gives the 11th house result. So as far as gains are concerned, of whichever chart you are looking, so it pertains to that aspect.
It pertains to that aspect.
So is it not that this, during that Leo Dasha, during that Leo or Aries Dasha, you get these are the different results for different aspects, but not the different views on the same aspect, right?
It can be both. If, for example, you are running Cancer Dasha, so you know that basically there are going to be some gains because it is the house of gains, 11th house. That is the Dasha running. So in Cancer Dasha, there will be some gains. What kind of gains? Depending on which planets are affecting it, because Rahu is affecting it. So there may be some Rahu gains, some gains from foreign sources, for example. So some gains, pardon me?
Lottery also.
Why lottery by Rahu? Lottery is a shark.
Shark to many.
See, Rahu is the significator of short, but that's used in a negative sense, not in the sense of gaining lottery.
He'll get a heart attack or something.
Okay. Usually when we talk about gains in lottery, gains in speculation, usually the houses are 5th house and 8th house. 8th house is speculation and 5th house is emotional. So if 5th and 8th are involved with the house of gains, then that can be a gain that is coming through speculation and gain that is unexpected. So it can be lottery or something similar. So, so going back to your question, you can conclude that there will be gains from foreign sources, or because moon is aspecting, there can be gains, let's say, in food business or something relating to moon, maybe nursing business. So such results can be said, but at the same time, the lord of the sign is in the 6th house. So there can be some enmities. Whether the enmities have something to do with gains or not is a different matter. It may be for some gain. The enmity may be for some gain. So the gain may be the root cause of everything else, but they can be totally different results.
As you just said, there are two different aspects. So one is, as far as gains is concerned, it could have the effect of with these aspects.
All the planets that are aspecting it and all the planets that are occupying it.
But during the dasha, as far as enmity or friendships or relationships are concerned, this will come into picture. So there are different aspects as such.
There are different aspects, and there can be so many different aspects. Let's say Jupiter was there.
Okay.
So Jupiter is suppose Jupiter was in Cancer. He is the 7th lord. He is the 4th lord. So there can be gain of 4th house matters. There can be a new house. There can be a new car, and there can be a wife. I won't say new wife. I will just say there can be a wife. So because 7th lord, if he is in the 11th house, there can be the person can get married. So or the relation with the wife may be harmonious because 7th lord is exalted, and there may be a debilitated planet there. Let's say Mars is there and Mars is debilitated. So there may be some negative results relating to whatever Mars shows in that chart. So all I am saying is different results are possible.
Mixing.
The 11th house, depending on which planets are occupying it, depending on which planets are aspecting it, and depending on where its lord is and who its lord is associating with, depending on all these parameters, there are 5 to 10 different results that are possible in each dasha. 5 to 10 totally different results are possible. So what I am saying is, I am going to give you some rules apart from using the normal antardashas that we have been doing, some special rules to judge the results of dasha, to divide the dasha into some other artificial division, not the antardasha but some other division, so that you know exactly when each result will be experienced. So before we start that analysis, first there are some basics that you have to remember. The basics are, Parashara defines some signs as Shirshodaya Rasis, and some signs as Pristhodaya Rasis, and some signs as Ubhyodaya Rasis. So what that means is, Shirshodaya means Shirsha Udaya. Udaya means rising, Shirsha means head. So Shirshodaya literally means head rising. So there are some signs that are Shirshodaya Rasis. And the Shirshodaya Rasis are, does anybody know the list? Anybody? Follow me? Kiran? Okay, then, okay. Taurus is a Shirshodaya Rasi. No, not Taurus. It is Taurus. Gemini. Gemini is a Shirshodaya Rasi. Good. Leo is a Shirshodaya Rasi. Virgo is a Shirshodaya Rasi. Libra is a Shirshodaya Rasi. Scorpio is a Shirshodaya Rasi. Then Aquarius is a Shirshodaya Rasi. These are the Shirshodaya Rasis. Did you get the list? Yeah. Gemini, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Aquarius. These are the Shirshodaya Rasis. And by the way, you can get this list in any book. Any astrology classic will have this list.
Is there in your book also?
It must be there in my book. If you go to the first chapter on Rasis, it must be there. This is something that everybody lists, including Parashara, Varahmitra. Everybody will list this in a book, but they won't tell you what to do with it. They will just tell you these are Shirshodaya Rasis. So what? What do you mean it rises with the head? When to signs rise? There are no clear hints anywhere in the classics on how to use this particular thing. But for now, just remember this. These are the Udayas. These are how signs rise. Second thing, the Pristhodaya Rasis. They are Aries, Taurus, Cancer, Sagittarius and Capricorn. Aries, Taurus, Cancer, Sagittarius and Capricorn. These are the Pristhodaya Rasis. They rise with the back. Pristha means back Rising means, some people actually translate it as rising with the tail because opposite of head is tail, but literally Prishta means back. So they rise with the back. And Pisces, that is the only sign that is left out. If you look at the two lists that I have given, Pisces is the only thing that is left out. So obviously that must be Ubhodaya Rasi. It rises with both. It's confused. It doesn't know how to rise, so it rises in a very twisted way. It twists itself and rises with both back and head coming up at the same time.
No, maybe because the symbol is too fixed.
Yeah. One is rising with the head, and one is rising with the tail.
So that's
Okay. Okay. So basically, this is how the signs will rise. Now, what we do is, each Mahadasha, we divide into 3 equal parts. For seeing when various influences will give their results in a Dasha, we divide the Mahadasha into 3 equal parts. Okay? One part will give the results of, I'm not saying which part, but one of those 3 parts will give the results of the sign itself. And one part will give the results of the Lord of the sign. And one part will give the results of various associations of the sign. The planets occupying it and the planets aspecting it by Rashi Drishti, sign aspect. So these are the 3 divisions: sign, Lord and associations. And associations means conjunctions as well as aspects, sign aspects. So this is how various results are given. Now, the order of when, which third will give which result. That is based on whether the sign is sUH17gWy2A or Prishthadaya. So if the sign is sUH17gWy2A, can you guess when the results of the sign will be given? In the beginning or end? Very good guess. So for sUH17gWy2A Rasi, the results of the sign are given in the beginning itself, the first 1/3 of the Dasha. In Prishthadaya Rasis, can you guess? The last 1/3 will give the results of the sign. And in Ubhodaya Rasis, middle. Both is also a good guess. It's actually middle because you can't have both. You have to select one. Okay. We are learning astrology the way of the parampara now. Research. So, in Ubhodaya Rasi, if the Dasha is of Ubhodaya Rasi, the middle 1/3 will give the result of the Dasha. Yeah. The middle 1/3 will give the results of the sign. Now,
Lord of the sign, right?
No.
sign.
We will come to the Lord of the sign later. Right now we are talking about the results of the sign when they are given. They are given in the first 1/3 for sUH17gWy2A Rasi, last 1/3 for Prishthadaya Rasi, middle 1/3 for Ubhodaya Rasi. So that is when the sign itself will give its result. Okay? Now, the Lord will now come and he will choose out of the 2 remaining. The Lord will choose when he will prefer to give his results. And the rule is, again see where the Lord is placed. Is the Lord placed in an Ubhodaya Rasi, sUH17gWy2A Rasi or Prishthadaya Rasi? So the rule is, if the Lord is placed in sUH17gWy2A or Ubhodaya Rasi, if he is placed in sUH17gWy2A Rasi or Ubhodaya Rasi, he will take the first available slot. If he is placed in Prishthadaya Rasi, he will take the last available slot. Because there are only 2 slots available now. 1 slot out of the 3 has already been taken by the sign itself. So Lord has 2 remaining. They can be first and third, they can be first and second, they can be second and third. We don't know which, but there will be 2 slots available. And Lord will come and take the first available slots out of those for sUH17gWy2A and Ubhodaya Rasi. And this is based on where the Lord is placed. On the other hand, if the Lord is placed in a Prishthadaya Rasi, he will be lazy. He will want to give his results at the end. So then the last results will come at the end, the last available slot. And obviously the remaining slots, we said 3 slots and we have allocated 2 slots to sign and Lord. So obviously the remaining slot, whether it's the first or second or third, the remaining slot will go to, the aspects and conjunctions of the sign. Okay? So this is the broad division.
Can you repeat the last one where the Lord aspect is concerned?
The Lord will take, out of the 2 slots that are remaining, after you allocate one of the slots to the sign, out of the 2 slots that are remaining, Lord will take the first available slot, the earliest slot, if he is in sUH17 Rasi or in opus Rasi. And if he is in Prushtodaya Rasi, he will postpone his results to the end. So he will take the last available slot.
If sign takes 2 means basically
The Lord
he
will
take 1.
Yeah, if it is Prushtodaya, he will take 3. And let's say sign took 1. And if the Lord is in sUH17 or opus, he will take 2. If he is in Prushtodaya, he will take 3. And let's say sign took 3 because it was Prushtodaya. Then Lord will take 1 or 2. If he is sUH17, he will take 1. If it is Prushtodaya, he will take 2. So that is how it works. Okay? So this is one rule. And the next rule is
For the third
the slot that is remaining, that will be,
for the Lord, this thing, the
Yeah.
when he's in Prushtodaya, is it possible to be in the third slot also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on which slots are available.
Which slots?
If he is in Prushtodaya, he will want to take the slot, the last slot that is available. If 1 and 2 are available, he will take 2. If 2 and 3 are available, he will take 3. If 1 and 3 are available, he will take 3.
And what about the other one, sUH17?
The Lord is in sUH17 Rasi,
Then there is
then he will take the first available slot.
So third is not there.
Third, never there. Yeah. Yeah.
No, third can happen with...
No, he said if the Lord is in sUH17, then Lord can never give the result in third.
It will be 1, 2 or 1 or 2.
1 or 2, depending on which one sign took. If sign took 1, he will give in 2. If sign took 2, he will give in 1. If sign took 3, he will give in 1. So it will be only 1 or 2. It can never be 3. Okay. So what you have to remember is the sign and the Lord, they will choose based on whether they are sUH17 or Prushtodaya, to give in the beginning or to give in the end. And sign gets to choose first. So that is what you have to remember. Then you can derive everything else automatically. And now you can further subdivide the portion that is allocated to the aspects and conjunctions. The remaining portion, after sign and Lord take their preference, the remaining slot is given to the aspects and conjunctions, right? So what you do is look at all the planets, including Rahu and Ketu. Look at all the planets which are either occupying that sign or aspecting that sign. See how many planets are there. And it's a democracy now. If there are 7 planets, divide that portion, that 1/3 portion that you allocated to these associations, into 7 equal parts. If there are 2 planets, divide into 2 equal parts. If there are 7 planets, if there are 4 planets, divide into 4 equal parts. So like that, divide that period into equal parts. And once you divide,
Pardon? Whatever
part is left out for the associations, for the planets conjoining and aspecting that sign, whatever part is left out, it could be 1 or 2 or 3. That part is divided into equal parts to share between all those influences. Let's say in my case, let's say Aries Dasha. Let's actually go through an example, it will become clear. Aries, is it sUH17 or Prushtodaya? Prushtodaya. So the last 1/3 will give the results of Aries itself. So from 2003 April till 2007 April, this is the last 1/3 because there are 12 equal Antardashas. So the last 4 Antardashas must be the last 1/3. So this period will give the results of Aries itself. And now Lord. The Lord of Aries is Mars. Is he in sUH17 Rasi or Prushtodaya Rasi here? He is again in a Prushtodaya Rasi. So out of the slots, first and second slots that are open, he will take second slot. So the results of Mars will come from April 99 till April 2003. So those is it 4 years? Those 4 years, you will get the results of Mars. And the first 4 years, 95 April till 99 April, during those 4 years, you will get the results of the left out. After taking sign and Lord, the left out influence is association. So planets occupying it and aspecting it. So they will give their results in those 4 years.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No, not 4 planets. Let's count. First count the conjunction. Count the planets occupying Aries. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 planets. Don't include Mandi, Gurika, all these upagrahas. Only planets. Okay? So there are 4 planets conjoining that sign. And how many planets are aspecting that sign? Is Sun aspecting it? No.
No.
Is Jupiter aspecting it?
Yes.
By Rasi Drishti?
Yeah, only by
No, no. If you want, you can do relationships. Oops, whatever. Highlight Rasi. Aspected by this Rasi.
And the
So this Rasi is being aspected by these three Rasis. So planets in those Rasis are aspecting it using sign aspect, not Drishti. So Aries is being aspected by Moon, Rahu and Ketu. So there are 7 planets, 4 here and 3 here. So there are 7 different influences that are coming in that particular 4-year period. So what you can do is divide those 4 years. 4 years means roughly 48 months into 7 equal parts, roughly 7 months each. And then in one 7 months period, Moon's results will come, another 7 month period, Rahu results will come and so on. And now, to see the order in which those planets will give their results, the rule is simple. Look at their longitudes, which is their sign. Whoever is more advanced in the sign, they will give their results first. Whoever is less advanced in their sign, they will give their results later. In other words, look at the Karakatva. The Charakaraka, Atmakaraka is given higher priority, then Amachakaraka, then Bhratsakaraka, then Matakaraka, then Putrakaraka, then Pitrakaraka, then Matakaraka, Pitrakaraka, and then Putrakaraka, and then Jnatikaraka, and then Darakaraka. So look at the, you can find out the order of the longitudes by looking at the Karakatva, Charakarakatva also. So if a planet is more advanced, it will give its results earlier. If a planet is less advanced, it will give its results later.
For Rahu, we need to subtract.
Yes, subtract. It is basically 30 minus Rahu's longitude. We count the longitude of Rahu from the end of the sign because he is always moving backward. Okay? Now, so this is how you look at the various conjunctions and aspects. For example, Mercury is in Aries. So there are some results of Mercury that are given in Aries Dasha. There are various results that Mercury can give. And we will judge each of those parts later. But whatever results Mercury wants to give, he may give throughout the Dasha, but that particular small portion of 7 months, that will be the peak. That is when Mercury's results will basically reach their peak. And Venus portion, again, that is when Venus results will reach their peak, and so on. So like this, you can find out, you can divide the 1/3 corresponding to association further to allocate different periods to each planet that is influencing. Okay. Now one more thing is the 1/3 corresponding to the Lord, that can further be subdivided into 4 equal parts. You divide the 1/3 corresponding to the Lord into 4 equal parts. And the way you judge those 4 parts is, in the first part he will give the planet, let's say the planet is benefic. This particular thing depends on whether the planet is benefic or malefic. The order in which those 4 slots get the results, that depends on the benefic or malefic nature of the planet. So first I will tell you about benefic planets. If the planet is benefic, he will first bother about where he is placed. He will be, if you take a nice person, what will he do first? If he comes to your house, suppose I wanted to fix something in my apartment, in my house, let's say there is a problem, and I wanted to complain to somebody about it and take their help in fixing it. I go to their house, and let us say something is happening there, and they need help. So I will first forget about my need and try to help them first, make sure that their problem is solved, and then attend to my need. So that is the nature of benefic planets. Wherever they are, they want that place to be nice and well protected. So any benefic, the very beginning of his period, he will give the results of the house that he is occupying. He will try to take care of the house that he occupies. So that is the first 1/4. The second 1/4, then he will, after taking care of his immediate surroundings and helping people immediately with him, he will then think of his actual responsibilities. Yeah, I have to fix my house. Then he will attend to that. So that is the houses owned by the planet. So houses owned by the planet, those results will come in the second 1/4. First 1/4 is houses occupied by the planet. Second 1/4 is houses owned by the planet. And third 1/4 will be excuse me, the yogas of the planet. the associations of the planet. If the planet is basically, let's say, giving a Raj Yoga with some other planet, the result of that Raj Yoga will come then. If the planet is involved in a bad exchange, let's say 9th Lord and 8th Lord are exchanging, and that is a Duryoga. So if the planet is involved in Duryoga, the result will be given in that 1/4. So third 1/4 will be various yogas of the planets. So any planet that the planet is associated, conjoining or exchanging houses or aspecting, mutual aspect, all those results will be given in the third 1/4. And last 1/4, the fourth 1/4, the fourth quarter, that will give the result of the state of the planet. Is he depressed? Is he proud? Is he angry? Is he ashamed? So there are various states. And is he in one house? Is he actually I haven't done most of these avasthas so far. There are avasthas that you can, if you go to strength tab, if you go to other strength tab, and if you click on the middle window, you have this Vinchopakabala, Amshabala, Vaisheshikamsa, all these things, right? Here there are two avasthas, basic avasthas and Chainari avastha. If you look at basic avasthas, you see, for example, in this case, Muni is dead, he is dreaming, he is peaceful, he is mischievous. So there are various states that are given to planets. So the results of the state that the planet is in, those results will be given in this quarter. And apart from, even though you don't know all these things, you at least know that if a planet is exalted, it is akin to being very proud, very excited, being very happy. And if a planet is debilitated, you know that it is akin to being depressed, sad, etc. And if a planet is in one house, it's akin to somebody who's peaceful, who's relaxed at his own house. And if a planet is in Mula Trikona, it is akin to very formal. Somebody who's at his workplace and very formal, do his duties very sincerely and formally. It's not relaxed. It's very very tight basically. But it will give its results. But the way it will give results is different based on Mula Trikona or one house. And exaltation is considered most powerful because he's exalted there. It's like a favorite party, the exaltation sign of the planet. So those results, whether the planet is in exaltation sign or debilitation sign or Mula Trikona or one sign or in a friend sign or in an enemy sign, if a planet is in a friend sign, again that is good. If a planet is in enemy sign, that is bad. So all the results based on the state of the planet, based on whether it's well placed or badly placed, friendly placed or enemical placed, all those things will come into being in the last quarter. So first quarter is the houses occupied, next quarter is houses owned, third quarter is yogas, fourth quarter is the avastha, the state of the planet. Now for malefic planets, this is for benefic planets. For malefic planets, it is reverse. If a bad guy has certain responsibilities and he goes to somebody's house, he doesn't care about whether all the things are being taken care of nicely in that house or not. He doesn't care about whether his own responsibilities are being fulfilled or not. The first thing he cares about is he happy or not? Is he sad or not? He's worried about himself. He is basically more selfish. Whereas benefic planet is very unselfish and he takes care of everybody. Malefic planets are more selfish. I mean, this is an analogy, not exactly. If you ever Saturn comes before you or Mars comes before you, don't say you are selfish. They will not like it. So, I'm just giving an analogy. I'm giving an analogy. So, actually, if you tell Jupiter you are selfish, he won't care. He won't care. Oh yeah, maybe. He'll just walk away. So malefic planets are akin to selfish people. So they will look after themselves first. So the first important thing is avastha, the state. So the first quarter will give the results of state, second quarter will give the results of yogas, because they want to be associated with everybody. They don't want to, whether you are doing your job or not, you are given a particular project, whether you are doing it or not is separate. You are project manager for a particular project. Is it going well or not is not, it doesn't matter. But are you having dinner with the CEO or not? Are you in the coffee room? Are you chatting with your vice president or not? That matters more than actually doing your job. So yogas are important. His own state is the most important thing. Then the yogas are important. And then he will worry about his responsibilities. And finally he will worry about the house he is occupying. The house, wherever he is placed, whether that house is being taken care of or not, that is at the bottom of his list. So that comes at the end. So basically the list has been reverse for malefic sign, malefic planets. And here a note: is moon benefic or malefic?
Depends on where it is.
Depends on?
Shukla.
No, association is for Mercury. Well associated Mercury is benefic. If Mercury is with Jupiter, he is benefic. If he is with Saturn, he is malefic. So depending on who he is with, he can change his colors. That is the great thing about Mercury. He is totally flexible. He can be anybody. Mercury can be any planet. He can be Rahu, he can be Ketu, he can be Jupiter, he can be Saturn. He has that flexibility. Out of all the planets, it's only Mercury who is so flexible. So anyway, coming back to the point, Mercury can be benefic or malefic based on who he is with. And moon can be benefic or malefic based on whether it is Krishna Paksha or Shukla Paksha. If the moon is increasing, he is benefic. If the moon is decreasing, he is malefic. So these are the broad rules. Benefic or sun? Sun is malefic. Malefic. Yeah. We are not talking about functional nature here. Even Saturn can be a functional benefic. If somebody is born in, let's say, Capricorn Lagna, Saturn is a benefic for him. But we are talking about natural benefic and natural malefic. Whether the planet is Saumya or Krura, inherently good or inherently bad. So that's what we are talking about. Okay? Now, let us see some examples. Yes. Yeah, both the houses. In that particular portion, he will give the results of both the houses. Okay.
If the time period is very small, say 1 year, and
Yeah. Then you may not care about all this. Just give all the results, you'll be all set. You may not care about this if it's just 1 year, because if you divide into 3 parts, you get 4 months. And if you divide into several parts, it's every month. So, if you don't need that kind of, Tithi Pravesha will also give you annual chart. So you don't really need that kind of precision. But if you are looking at a 5-year or 10-year or here 12 years, if you look at a 12-year dasha, you probably care about what exactly is going on. So let us take an example. Let us look at this example and try to see what results are possible when. Actually, let's go back to the previous dasha. Actually, by now you know what happened in my life when exactly, but let us explain it using this dasha, not the other techniques that we have used. So, Sagittarius dasha. What is the first step in using the 3 parts rule? By the way, this rule is this particular rule that I taught you is called 3 parts rule. Even though there is a 4-part thing also inside it, it's basically 3 parts rule.
Last is fine.
Pardon me?
The last is fine.
The last is fine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good, right. Why? Everybody followed it? When will sign give its result in this particular dasha?
Capricorn is if I show it.
Pardon me?
The head rise, the back rising. So yeah.
It's the end, right. So Sagittarius is back rising. It's Prishthodaya. So the results of Sagittarius will come in the last month. And when will Jupiter's results come? Pardon me? First, Jupiter is in a head rising sign, Libra. So Jupiter's results will come in the beginning itself. So Jupiter will take the first slot, Sagittarius will take the last slot, and middle slot is given to the aspects, the various planets that are aspecting this particular sign. Okay? Now, let us go through them individually. Let us go through the first 4 dashas, first 4 antardashas. So this is Jupiter's result, right? Now let's further subdivide Jupiter's result. In the first antardasha, what results will Jupiter give? In the second antardasha, what results will Jupiter give? Third one, what will Jupiter give? Fourth one, what will Jupiter give? So let us go through that in detail. So Jupiter, is he benefic or malefic?
Benefic.
Sure? Confident? Good. Lock So Jupiter is a benefic. So the first 1/4 will give the results of? No.
The one.
The house, right? Which house? Owned or occupied?
Occupied.
So Jupiter will give the results of the house that he occupies in that particular antardasha. So what kind of results are possible? What is the house that Jupiter occupies?
Second.
Second house. So what is possible?
health and
wealth, resources, more money,
I think
etc.
that means only in Libra Antardasha it will give that result.
Yeah, in Libra, Antardasha, Jupiter. It so happened to be Libra here, but it doesn't have to be Libra. Whatever it is,
No, in this example.
yeah. In the Libra Antardasha, he will give the first 1/4 result. Because there are 4 Antardashas, in which Jupiter will give his result,
Because it's a benefit.
being the Lord.
You go by that first four.
Yeah, yeah. So the first 1/4, he will give the results of occupying house. Second 1/4, he will give the results of houses owned. In the next 1/4, he will give the results of yogas, if at all there are any yogas. In the last 1/4, he will give the results of his state, whether he is excited or sad, etc. So we are applying that rule now. So in Libra Antardasha, if at all any important event happens, it will be something like some money. But what kind of money? He is not any planet in the second house. He is giving his results in these periods because he is Sagittarius Lord. After all, this is Sagittarius Dasha. So whatever results he gives, basically he is Sagittarius Lord. But being the 4th Lord placed in the second house, that placement of the second house, those results will be given in this period. So some gain, some money, etc. relating to education, not relating to something else. Because that is the theme of the whole Dasha. Sagittarius is the theme. So within Sagittarius Dasha, being the 4th Lord in the second house, he can give some money coming relating to education.
Or real estate?
Pardon me?
Or real estate or...
What?
Or real estate too?
Real estate is possible, definitely. Very good guess. I was too small to gain anything in real estate then, but definitely a good guess.
Oh, in this case.
Very good. 4th house is not just education. Because I was at that time 15 years old when the Dasha started. So I said education. But 4th house can also show mother, vehicle, real estate, so many things. So that is excellent. That is a good guess. So here, what happened in that particular 1 year was, in the 10th standard, basically there is an exam called National Talent Search Examination conducted by NCERT in India. So I took that exam and I was selected. They had 2 or 3 stages and then interview. And finally they basically give a scholarship. So I was selected for the scholarship. So for the next several years, I don't remember how many years, but for a few years, I believe I got it even when I went to IIT. So it was a few years, 4 years or 5 years. They give you every month, they give you certain amount of money as a scholarship to aid in your studies. So I got that National Talent Search Scholarship from an educational government institute, NCERT. So basically that is the result of Jupiter being in the second house. So the next 1/4 will be the result of occupied houses. So what results will Jupiter give? He occupies, not occupied, the house is owned by him. He owns the 4th and 7th house. So what are the results that will be given by 4th and 7th Lord?
Education itself.
Marriage is possible.
7th house is marriage. Yeah.
But all this is basically, he is getting this portion at all because he is the 4th Lord. So something related to 4th, but it can be 4th or 7th.
Okay.
Some 4th or 7th house results relating to 4th house. 4th house is the seed of everything because Sagittarius is the 4th house. So some relations, some associations, getting to know some people, getting some friends in the college because it's 7th Lord and it's 4th Lord also. So basically learning, studies, education. 4th house is education. So that is one possibility. Another possibility is it can be marriage also. I wasn't married, but as the 7th Lord, he can give marriage also. So that would be a good guess.
Give his girlfriends in the college?
For me?
That is for Venus, not the Jupiter.
I studied. During that period, I was at a college called AP Residential Junior College. It was a government residential college in Nagarjuna Sagar. It was only for boys. So no girls. So basically, there isn't anything special in that Dasha. Basically, that period will be 4th house and 7th house results, so a lot of getting to know a lot of people and studying. Now, the next Antardasha is an interesting Antardasha. He will give the results of his yoga. Does he have any yogas? Is he taking part in any yoga? Is Jupiter involved in any yoga with any other planet? You are looking at only sign aspects. When we talk about yogas come because of Grahadrishti
Association.
So,
No aspects come into picture here.
pardon me? Not really aspects. This is yogas.
Only yoga.
Yogas, yeah. The yogas of Jupiter. So what are the yogas of Jupiter? He is the 7th lord, and he is the 4th lord, and he is aspecting all these planets. Jupiter is in Samsaptaka with all these planets. They are aspecting each other by Graha Drishti. So Jupiter has several Rajyogas. The fourth, for yogas, it is only Graha Drishti. Yeah. So in this particular quarter, when I said the results of the yogas are given, this is basically yogas based on Graha Drishti. There is a Guru Mangal Yoga, there you go. So Guru Mangal Yoga results will be given. Any other yogas? Yeah, Jnana Yoga. And basically look at Shani and Shukra, Venus and Saturn, the 5th lord and the 9th lord, and Mercury, of course, Lagna lord. So all the 3 trine lords, 1st lord, 5th lord and 9th lord, all the 3 9th lords are in Aries. And Jupiter is 4th and 7th lord, a Kendra lord. So his aspect on those 3 planets is a yoga. Jupiter Mercury have a Raj Yoga, Jupiter Venus have a Raj Yoga, Jupiter Saturn have a Raj Yoga. And especially with Venus, Jupiter is extremely close. So there are various Raj Yogas given by Jupiter as the 4th lord and 7th lord. So relating to 7th house and 4th house matters, they can be excellent results. And he has another yoga known as Kalanisi Yoga. Jupiter is in the 2nd or 5th house, aspected by Mercury or Venus. And here it is Graha Drishti. When we are talking about yogas, it's always Graha Drishti. So if Jupiter is in 2nd or 5th aspected by Mercury and Venus, it's known as Kalanisi Yoga. So that yoga is also there. So there are various yogas given by Jupiter. Actually, this Aries Libra is the important axis in this chart. All the yogas in the chart are in the 2nd and 8th house axis. So, in that particular 1/12th of the dasha, in that particular portion, 86 December to 87 October, you should expect excellent results because of the yogas fructifying. And that was indeed a very good period. In 87 May, I stood state first in the intermediate examinations, in the plus 2 exams. And then I was selected in the IIT entrance exam. I went to IIT. So everything good. Whatever, basically the foundation for my life after that, my professional life after that, was laid out during that period. And that's because Jupiter is having nice yogas. As the 4th lord involved in Raj Yogas, he can give recognition in education. He can give success in education. So that was done in that particular 1/12. What about the next period? 87 October to 88 August.
Rahu and
The state. What is Jupiter's state? Is he what can you say about Jupiter's state? Is he exalted, debilitated? No, none of those. Is he in a friendly house or an inimical house? Yeah, he is retrograde. So retrogression is also a bad state. Inimical house. Why?
Venus.
Jupiter is in Venus house. Are Jupiter and Venus friends?
No, different.
No. They are enemies.
They are different gurus.
Yeah. One is the teacher of gods, one is the teacher of demons, and they are enemies. And especially Venus, is he a Tatkalika Mitra? I told you when we talked about friendship and enmity, I told you 2 parameters. One is, in general, the inherent relationship, and the second is the natural relationship. The second is Tatkalika Sambandha, the temporary relationship. What is the rule for that? Who are friends? 3 signs on both sides, right? So 2nd, 3rd, 4th on the planet, and 12th, 11th and 10th. So 3 surrounding signs if you take, adjacent signs to the planet's house, the house occupied by planet. Any planet in those houses becomes a friend temporarily. And any planet which is far away will become enemy. And Jupiter and Venus are here in Samsaptaka. Venus is far away. So he is a Tatkalika Satru. So Tatkalika Satru and natural Satru. So it becomes Adhisatru. So Venus is very bad. Venus is not a good planet. So Jupiter, the 4th lord, he is badly placed. Then inimical house. So this 1/4, will education be good or will it be average?
To be average.
It will be average. It will not be, definitely it will not be good. So this is not a period. Suppose I was writing the intermediate exam, the higher secondary school exams. In that particular Antardasha, you would expect, even though my other dashas are fine, Vimshotri Dasha and other dashas are fine, you probably would not have expected me to be state first or be selected for IIT. It would have been, I would have taken a different path. I wouldn't have been really that successful. Because the 1/4 that gives the results of yogas came at the time I was taking exams, I did well then. Once I went to IIT, in the first 1 year, I wasn't really doing well. I was in the middle of the class. I wasn't doing too badly because it's basically Jupiter, and Sagittarius and Jupiter are basically well placed. So it wasn't bad. So in other words, whatever the chart promises, the dasha will modify a little bit. Just because the planet is in Adhisatru Sthana, you can't say, oh, that year you will flunk all your exams. And if a planet is in Adhimitra Sthana, if you see somebody whose chart is basically weak, if you look at his D24, the chart of learning, if he is basically weak, you can't say that during that year you will become state first or university topper or something. It won't happen. So whatever the chart allows, there is some potential basically, some possibility. So there is some range of possibilities. So within that range of possibility, when the planet is in Adhisatru Sthana and giving the result of his state, it will bottom out within the range of possibility. And when the planet is in a Adhimitra Sthana and giving the results, or if the planet is involved in good yogas and giving the results, it will basically peak. Similarly, if the planet was involved in a bad yoga, let us say the 9th lord was in exchange with the 8th lord, and he was giving the results of the yoga in a particular period, in a particular portion, then again, whatever possibility is there in the chart, the minimum and maximum, it will bottom out within that, because there is a bad yoga whose result is being given then. So you have to keep that in mind. So during that period, I wasn't doing too badly. I wasn't at the end of the class or something, but I was in the middle of the class. I was used to being at the top of the class, but after I went to IIT during the first year, I was in the middle of the class. And that is because this is not a good Antardasha. This is not a good one quarter of the 1/3. Now let us go to the next 1/3.
State, it also shows Jupiter is in Dukkita.
Dukkita, yeah.
Dukkita? Oh, sorry, Dukkita.
Dukkita. Dukkita means distress, not happy, sad, yeah. So you can look at all those avasthas and you can infer the result. But basically this is not a great period. If you look at that whole 1/3 of the dasha where Jupiter will give its results, the most negative results will be given during that particular period.
What actually happened in IIT and why did you come down?
I was relaxed. I took it easy. No specific reason. I just took it easy. And Libra is Venus sign. Enjoy, relax. So that's exactly what I did. I just relaxed, and it wasn't good. So I was in the middle of the class, and then the next 1/4. What are the possible results in the next 1/4?
Lord also.
Who will give the results? Lord will give in the beginning. And we said that the sign gives at the end because Sagittarius is back rising, and we said Lord is head rising, so he gave at the beginning. So middle 1/3 will be given by aspects. The planets who are aspecting and occupying that sign. How many planets are there aspecting and occupying it?
Only one.
Pardon me?
Only Sun.
Only Sun. Only Sun.
No, please. So we said Jupiter is in.
Jupiter is in a Krishdodaya Rashi, Sishodaya Rashi, Libra. So Jupiter gave his results in the beginning. And Sagittarius was a Krishdodaya Rashi, so it gave its results in the last Antardasha. So the middle Antardasha was left over. So anybody who is occupying the house or aspecting the house, they will take leftovers. The sign itself gets the priority and the Lord gets the next priority. And then everybody else gets to take whatever is left. So the middle 1/3 from 88 August to 91 December, that 1/3 will give the results of all the planets who are occupying and aspecting that sign. In the case of Aries, we have 7 planets occupying and are aspecting it. But in the case of Sagittarius, there is only 1 planet. Who are aspecting Sagittarius by Rashi Drishti?
Sun.
Only Sun, no other planet. So Sun has 4 whole years to give his results.
You don't consider Argala or anything on?
No,
nothing else.
Only Rashi Drishti here. So Sun has 4 whole years to give his results. So what are the kind of results he will give? So let us see them. Okay? So the first 1/4. Again, because there is only 1 planet, because it's a reasonably long period, to get further insight, you can further subdivide the results of the planet into 4 equal parts, using the same rules that we use for the Lord. If Jupiter being the Lord, his portion he divided into 4 parts. Sun being a planet, he can further subdivide his portion into 4 parts. So Sun's portion, which is exactly 4 Antardashas here, that you can subdivide into 4 equal parts. So the first part, what will be the result? Pardon me? Avastha. The Sun Is he well placed or badly placed? Is he exalted or debilitated or anything like that? Sun.
Debilitated.
Why?
No.
Why is he kind of debilitated?
He is right.
What?
He is setting.
Yeah, but that's not debilitation.
Right.
Yeah.
Working in a friend's house.
Yeah.
Khatri-
Sun is in friend's house. Sun is in Jupiter's house. And usually Sun and Jupiter like each other's houses. Sun is like the king and Jupiter is like the priest. When a king, that too Sun is a Sattvic king, he is not a Tamasic king. Sun is a Sattvic planet. When a Sattvic king goes to the house of a learned Pandit, he will enjoy it there. They will engage in nice intellectual discussions and he will have fun there. But then he again has to go back to the court and then deal with killing people, etc. But when he is there, he is relaxed. So Sun is also Karaka for Dharma. So Sun, when he is in Pisces or Sagittarius, when he is in Jupiter's house, he is very relaxed, he is very happy being there. So, and also, when we talk about Avastha, we said exaltation and debilitation, but there is actually another concept. It's not as if it's 0 or 1 thing, it's a gradual thing. A planet is exalted in a particular point, 10 degrees Aries for example, in the case of Sun, or a planet is debilitated at a particular point, 10 degrees Libra, that's where Sun is in deep debilitation. 10 degrees Aries is where he is in deep exaltation. But in between, he will be either more exalted or more debilitated. Even though he is not exactly exalted, he is close to, if he is close to Aries, he is close to being happy. If he is close to Libra, he is close to being sad. So there is a bala known as Ucha bala. If you look at the software, in Shadbala it is given, but you can judge it just by looking. So if the planet is close to exaltation sign, then it is akin to being exalted. So basically Sun is well placed. Sun is in a good avastha. He is in a friendly house and he has excellent Uchabala. So because of that,
This shows as Dina Avastha.
yeah, that is also possible. Depending on the definition, he can be in various avasthas. He is in Kumara avastha, dreaming, Dina avastha, and Sainaji is very important. Look at Sainaji avastha. Out of all the avasthas, the basic avasthas that are given by the software, they are important. One is avastha relating to age, whether he is young or old. If a planet is, let's say, very young, usually the theory being a very young planet is incapable of doing anything. Just as a boy, if you get a boy and ask him to teach astrology, he's not really good. Of course, there may be a genius who at 10 years of age knows so much. But in general, a 10-year-old boy, if you ask him to teach something or do something, he will not be able to do a good job. Similarly, if somebody is too old, again, he is past his peak. He will not be able to do a good job. On the other hand, if somebody is in youth, he is at the prime of his youth, he will be able to do a good job. So that is the idea here. There are 5 avasthas, Balya, Kaumara. So you can we'll do them later. The avasthas. So basically, they are basically very a very child state, basically, then adolescent state, and then youthful state, and then Vrdha, which means basically old state, old age, and finally death state. There is even a death state. A planet in death state is basically like his death. So those are the 5 states, and the idea being here. Idea being, if a planet is in Yuvavastha, which is basically prime of you, which is basically the middle of the sign, then it will give its results to the fullest. If it is towards the end of the sign, either at the beginning or at the end, then he is either in Mrtavastha or Buddhavastha, he is either dead or very old, or he is either child or adolescent. So he will not give perfect results. So that's the idea. The basic idea is that. But just like you have geniuses at a very young age, or some old people, somebody may be 90 years old but still very active. He may have done yoga throughout his life and he may be very fit and active even at an age of 90. So you can't really go by age. But that's one criterion. So like that, there are 3 kinds of basic avasthas that are given in the software. This is state based on alertness. A planet can be either awake or asleep or dreaming. These are the 3 states. If a planet is awake, it will give full results. If it is dreaming, it will give half results. If it is asleep, no results. That's what the Shastra says. But again, somebody may be very effective even in sleep. Let me put it that way. It's just one of the parameters. It's one of the parameters. It's not the only parameter. And third one is the mood. It may be sad, it may be depressed, it may be excited, it may be Lachita, it may be ashamed, so there are various states. So these are important, but the most important avastha is Shayanadi avastha. This shows the exact activity of the planet. Is he doing, is he eating, is he sleeping, what is he doing? So depending on the state of the planet, you can basically derive what is the nature of the planet, what is the nature of the activity that the planet is interested in. So if you look at sun, what is the avastha of sun? Nritya lipsa avastha. So he is basically, what does Nritya lipsa means literally? Desirous of dancing. So it's a very energetic state. Party mode. So sun is basically excited. So sun is in Nritya lipsa avastha. But this is one aspect. Shayanadi avastha is one thing. Uchchabala is the other thing. And whether he is in friend's house or enemy's house is the third thing. So you can combine all the three and you can get a good sense of how strong the planet is. If a planet is in friend's house, worst enemy, sorry, not friend. If a planet is in worst enemy's house, Adishyatru Sthana, even if he wants to dance, he can't dance there. So even if he is in Nritya-lipsa-avastha, it's not really that good. On the other hand, if the planet is in Adishyatru Sthana, and also let's say he's in all those bad avasthas, he's sleeping, then that's it. There's nothing basically good going to happen. So you can combine all these three avasthas and get a sense. But here, Sun has excellent Uchchabala. He's close to his Uchrachi. He's in a friend's house, even though not Adimitra. He's a friend. So he is well placed in Pisces. And finally, he is in Richalipsa avastha. He is desirous of dancing. So because of it, this particular sun is in a good state. So the first 1/4.
But he was in a Dina avastha, right?
Yeah. Dina means sad, helpless. So there will be some helpless aspect also. But you can't just go by one word. If you combine everything, overall he is good. All points. Basically give most importance to the friend, whether he is in friend's house or enemy's house. That is number one criterion. And second importance to the Uchchabala, how close he is to the exaltation point or how far away he is to the exaltation point. So give second importance to Uchchabala and give the third importance to Shayanadi avastha. And then whatever else, Dina avastha, Khala avastha, all those will come at the end.
Can you repeat the correct? Uchchabala, how did you see that sun is in?
Uchchabala, see where the planet is exalted. Which sign, and actually there is a point for each planet. In each sign, let's say, we say Jupiter is exalted in Cancer.
Okay.
Sun is exalted in Aries. Venus is exalted in Pisces.
Okay.
There are exact degrees. I think so. I think it's in my book. Yeah, 10 degrees. But it is in my book.
Okay.
If you go through my book, and many other books have it actually. If you go through any book, they will give the deep exaltation points for each planet. So what you do is, you take the distance of the planet from that sign. From that point. The longitude of the planet and the longitude where it's deeply exalted.
Oh.
You see the distance. So based on the distance, if the distance is 0, it is fully. Actually, what Parashura's book says is actually see the distance from the debilitation point. See how many degrees he is from the debilitation point, and then divided by some 3 or something. Then you will get the Uchchabala as a number from 0 to 60. If it is exactly at 180 degrees from the deep debilitation point, then 180 divided by 3 will be 60. So it is fully strong. On the other hand, if he is exactly in the deep debilitation point, the distance is 0. So 0 divided by 3 is 0. So Uchchabala is 0. So like that, if you do this math, proportional math, you will get a number from 0 to 60. That will give you an idea of his Uchchabala. Actually, you can get it in the software. Go to Strength. The top tab is Shadbala. And by default, it gives the Shadbala summary. Go to Sthanabala. And in Sthanabala, you have various subdivisions. Uchchabala, Saptavargajabala, Ojayugmabala, Kendrabala, Drakanabala. So, these are the various balas. Look at Uchchabala. Focus on Uchchabala. So, if you see 0, that means the planet is extremely weak. If you see 60, that means planet is extremely good. So, excellent Uchchabala. So, you see that Mercury is very weak. He has only, actually Saturn is only 1.16. You know why? He is in debilitation sign itself. So he must be very close to the deep debilitation point. That is why his Uchabala is only 1.63. If you take Mercury, it is 6, again very small. Why? Because he is debilitated in Pisces. So if you find the exact longitude difference, the longitude difference must be around 18 degrees. He must be 18 degrees away from his deep debilitated point. That's why his Uchabala is only 6. On the other hand, Venus has excellent Uchabala, 56, very close to his exaltation point. Which is, I think Venus exaltation point is 20 some degrees, 27 or so in Pisces. I don't remember the exact numbers. I used to remember, but now I forget everything. Everything is in software, so I forget. I think it's 27 or so degrees in Pisces. So
when you say Pisces, what's the reference to the Pisces? You might have told me.
pardon me?
Venus exalted.
He's exalted there.
He's
He's exalted there. So, and he's debilitated in Virgo. So is Venus closer to Virgo or closer to Pisces? So depending on how close he is to which one, it will be, the points will be either close to 60 or close to 0. So that is how you basically derive the score. But you can look at this to see the Uchabala. But bottom line is, Sun has a very high Uchabala. From a scale of 0 to 60, he has 54. So he is basically quite strong. 90% strength he has in terms of Uchabala. So Uchabala, and then he was in friend's house, and then he was in Vichilipsavatha. So this is overall a good period. And Sun is in general, what kind of planet is Sun? What is the fiery and Dharma, Sattvic, and also he's a planet who gives position, right? Position and authority. He's a planet who makes kings. He's a planet who makes prime ministers and presidents. He's the planet of power and fame and good reputation. And Sun's aspect, as such, Sun's aspect on the 4th house, it can show doing well in studies, being a top guy in studies, being at the top of the pack. That is definitely possible if a planet who shows position like Sun is aspecting the 4th house. So during these four Antardashas in which Sun is going to give his results based on what we saw until now, overall during that period, because of Sun's aspect on this sign, it will be a good period. But especially in the first 1/4, when he will give the result of his state, being a planet in friendly house with good Uchabala and in Vichilipsavatha, and being such a planet aspecting the 4th house, he will give very good position in studies. So that particular 1 year, is it 1 year? No, actually, that particular 10-month period, the Antardasha, it will be good in studies. And it was actually exactly during that period that suddenly I decided to focus on studies a little bit more. And in my 3rd semester at IIT Madras, which was 88 August to 88 December, I was first in my class, and I had a big difference between the rest of the people. I had a huge margin, so that margin was enough to basically keep me at the top of the class for a few more semesters before I slid to second rank towards the end of the 4 years. So that semester was very crucial in taking me to the top of my class at IIT Madras, and that's because Sun is giving the results of his state. Now let us see Sun's next portion, the second portion. What are the results given by malefic planets in the second portion? Yogas. Does Sun have any yogas? Yeah, Grahadrishti, conjunction, Samasaptaka, Parivartana. Does he have any yogas at all? No. Sun doesn't have any yogas. Pardon me?
Katri yoga is there like that.
Yeah, there is Katri yoga. Shubha as well as Papa. Actually Papa Katri yoga. So Sun is subjected to Papa Katri yoga. Right? Sun is subjected to Papa Katri yoga. At the same time, actually Sun is taking part in a yoga known as Bhaskar yoga in this particular chart. If you look at the yoga, you will see Bhaskara, some yoga, I believe. I don't know if it's given as a Bhaskara. Yeah, Bhaskar yoga. Sun in 2nd, Mercury in 3rd, and Jupiter in 9th, all from Moon. So if you take from Moon, Sun is in the 2nd house, Mercury is in the 3rd house, and Jupiter is in the 9th house, that is a yoga known as Bhaskar yoga. So there is Bhaskar yoga that Sun is involved in, and the result will be wealthy, well-dressed, aristocratic, learned in Shastras, astrology and music. So So these are the various reasons. Basically, it's a period of good learning. So because Sun is involved in some yogas, it's basically a good period in study. But he also has, he's also with Gulika. Sun is with Gulika. Is he not with Gulika? Sun is at 20 degrees 52 minutes and Gulika is at 20 degrees 23 minutes. Are they close to each other? Sun is extremely badly afflicted by Gulika. So if you see, let's say Sun is afflicted by Gulika or Rahu, let's say Sun is afflicted by Saturn, Mars is afflicted by Rahu, Jupiter is afflicted by Rahu in a chart, that is also a yoga. Yoga doesn't mean good things. Bad conjunction is also a yoga. Sun and Gulika are together, that's a yoga. That's a very important yoga. But a terrible yoga. It's a bad yoga. And when Sun is afflicted by Gulika, it can show bad health. And here, Sun is, of course I know that we are looking at the 4th house results, but 4th house is also the house of mental state, not just education. The mental state, mental peace, Sukha basically. So when Sun, a malefic planet, is aspecting the 4th house, there can be Sukha Lopa, there can be problems in Sukha, loss of Sukha. And if the Sun is afflicted by Gulika and aspecting the 4th house, there can be terrible affliction to the Sukha. So the result given by Sun due to the conjunction with Gulika will be given in the second 1/4. So during that period, is it possible that there will be some health problem which will give me lot of discomfort and unhappiness and Sukhalopa? Is it possible? Do you think? Yes. So during that period, I had some health problems. I had some breathing problems, allergic bronchitis. I had allergic bronchitis, so I had to take some medication for a while. So I had some health problems during that time. And now the third 1/4 of Sun's results. What will those results be?
Won by the house.
The house is owned by Sun. So he is, what house does Sun own?
12th.
He is the 12th Lord. He is the 12th Lord. 12th house shows losses, expenditure. It also shows going. For me?
Teaching.
Why teaching? Giving basically.
Giving.
Yeah, it can show giving. So the Lord of the house of giving aspect in 4th house means in education I can be giving a lot. Actually during that period I was what you said may not be based on perfect logic, but it is actually correct. I was teaching a lot. I was teaching my co-students basically, and I used to take beautiful notes during that time. I had 3 color pens, blue, red and green. I would never read my notes. I would just I would make nice pictures with different colors. For subheadings I would use one color. For headings I would use one color. I would write very nice meticulous notes, which is basically like a nice textbook, but I would never read it. I used to, whatever I grasp when I listen to something, I'm lazy to revisit it again. I will either remember it or I will not remember it. But my knowledge is based on one-time learning. I usually don't learn the same thing many times. I have aversion towards it. But I used to take notes so that people can benefit from it. People used to cut classes. They used to not come for the classes. And all these are basically smart people. This is a very PVR institute in India. So these were very smart people. They don't need to study whole semester. So when the exams come every month, they would just take somebody's notes and then they would read for 2-3 days and then they will be outside. They will do well in the exams. And there used to be a list outside my room where people would come and sign up. And based on the priority, and I'm not kidding, all this is real, you can confirm from my classmates. There used to be a list because my notes was very interesting to people. It was preferred basically, but there were other people who took nice notes, so there was a priority list, and everybody had a list based on which I used to keep the notes. So I used to never see my notes in the 10 days before the exams. So all other time it would be with me, but during the time it would disappear. So I was giving a lot and also I was teaching a lot. But apart from that, 12th house is the house of giving. Also settling abroad. Ketu is there. Rahu and Ketu are in the 12th house. It can also show settling abroad. So the 12th Lord Sun is aspecting 4th house. So that can show thinking of going abroad for studies. 4th house is studies and 12th Lord's impact shows studying abroad. So Sun's aspect on the 4th house, not as Sun, the giver of power, but as the 12th Lord. That can make me think of going abroad. So during that particular Antardasha, basically we were negotiating universities, we were sharing the universities among all the students in my class, deciding who will apply to which university. We were getting recommendation letters from professors, filling out all the applications. So all that going abroad was basically the focus during that particular period. And the last Antardasha, Sun will give the results of the house he occupies. What house does he occupy? Seventh house. Can 7th house take one abroad? Yeah, 7th house we said earlier. 7th, 9th are the houses of going abroad. And 12th house is the house of settling abroad. So, and 9th house is the house of flourishing abroad. And 7th house is the house of traveling abroad. So these are the important houses. And moreover, apart from 7th, 9th and 12th, there was one parameter I talked about in one class. Not Palani, anybody else can answer? Do you remember? Apart from 7th, 9th and 12th, there is one important house as far as going abroad is concerned. No, 3rd is general travel. 8th house is general instability. They can be involved, but there is one very important house. If you don't remember, I really have to trouble you to get the answer. Okay, Badhakasthana. Badhakasthana, we talked about Badhakasthana in a previous class. For Chararasis, mobile signs, 11th is Badhakasthana. For Sthirarasis, fixed signs, 9th is the Badhakasthana. For dual signs, 7th is the Badhakasthana. And I said earlier that Badhakasthana is a very important house for going abroad. If a planet is in Badhakasthana, he can take somebody abroad. So here, Sun is in Badhakasthana and he is aspecting 4th house. So I can travel abroad for study. Chararasi is 11th house. If you actually look at your notes, it may be there because I mentioned it 2-3 times earlier. Chararasi is 11th house. Sthirarasi is 9th house from them. Jewel signs, the 7th house from them. So these are the Badhakasthana. Planets in the Badhakasthana, planets owning the Badhakasthana, they can take the person abroad. Okay. So during that Antardasha, 91 February to 91 December, during that period, basically I left India. I came to US for my master's, and that is because a planet in Badhakasthana aspecting the 4th house can give foreign travel, going abroad for study. That is why I came abroad for studies, not for career, because the focus is 4th house. Badhakasthana planet aspecting 4th house can show going abroad for studies. So during that period, I came abroad. I came to US for studies. Okay, and the last 1/3.
Ketu shows long journey too, right?
Ketu?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that being in the 4th shows a long journey.
Ketu being in 4th from where?
From the sun, or from the.
No.
I mean in the aspecting.
Who is aspecting Sun?
Yeah, the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's showing long journeys.
Sun, the dispositor of Ketu.
Yes.
Dispositor of the
Yes,
12th house showing, yeah, it can show, yeah. It can show long journey. Now, the last 1/3 of the Mahadasha, that will give the results of the sign itself, Sagittarius. So what are the results that you can expect? Sagittarius. Yeah. So I don't really have, because tradition does not have any clear rules for subdividing the results of the sign itself into 4 or 3 equal parts again. There may be some rules, but I don't know of them. So I can't teach you any further rules. But what you should look in the dasha of sign is the nature of the sign itself. Is it a sattvic sign? Is it a tamasic sign? Is it an energetic sign? Is it a peaceful sign? Is it a calm sign? So you can look at the nature of the sign itself and house. What house is it? From Lagna, from Arudha Lagna. So what house is it? And also look at sign aspects on that sign. When you say Sagittarius gives you results, there are other signs that are aspecting Sagittarius. So they will get to give the results in that particular 1/3 of the dasha. So Sagittarius is aspected by who? Pisces, Gemini and Virgo. So during this Dasha, and also it's basically 4th house. So this 1/3 the focus will be learning, education, 4th house, and also maybe marriage. 7th house is aspecting it. 4th house is Sukha and 7th house is aspecting it. So there can be Vivaha Sukha, there can be Vivaha, marriage, and 10th house is aspecting it. So there can be career can start then, and Lagna is aspecting it. So health, taking good care of health. Earlier I wasn't taking good care of my health, but taking good care of health. So all those results are possible in the period that corresponds to Sagittarius. So from 91 December till 95 April. So this is how you divide the Dasha into 3 parts and then judge various results. Let us look at the next Dasha. Let me see how well you do on your own. Let us look at the first 2/3. Who will give the results in first 1/3? So Aries, is it Prushtodaya or Srishodaya? Aries. Aries is Prushtodaya, back rising. Aries, Taurus, Cancer and Sagittarius and Capricorn. These are back rising. So the last 1/3 will give the result of Aries. And now first and second slots are available. Which one will Mars take? He will take the second one because he too is in a Prushtodaya Rasi. He too is in a back rising sign. So the first 1/4 will be the result of
All the associations.
all the associations. There are so many of those. So let us make a list. Let me open. So remember that it's starting in 95 April and it goes on for 4 years. Okay. So first we have to arrange them in the order of longitude. So the planets are Moon, Rahu, Ketu, Mercury, Mars, Venus, Saturn. Who will come first? Moon being Atmakarka. He is at 28 degrees 33 minutes. That is his advancement in Aquarius. So the first will be Moon. From when? April 95. How long is each portion? We have 7 portions. And this is 4 years, 48 months. So roughly 7 months. So let's say it's actually a little bit less, but let's give 7. Let's give 7. 1195. And by the way, I will
inclusive or we have to include that for the starting.
Yeah, it's April 4, 95 to some date in November 95. We haven't found. We are doing approximately here. We are not giving dates. But actually in software I'll probably put a feature letter to show the subdivisions using this also. By the way, the software that I shared with all of you in last May or June when I started these classes. I made it free not just for this class but for the whole world on the Magha Purnima day a couple of weeks back. So the software is totally free now. Anybody in the world can download it. Earlier had this light version, the free version and the commercial version. So those of you who joined the class late and don't have the software with you, they can just download it from the internet. If you go to my website vedicastrologer.org, you can download the software, the full version. But I put only a 4.5 megabyte version, which doesn't have the atlas and the full ephemeris. It has only I think 600 year ephemeris from 1800 AD to 2400 AD. So the rest of the ephemeris is not there and the atlas is not there. And the full version is 56 MB. I'm going to put it on a download site. I found a free hosting with a lot of bandwidth. So I'll put it there so you can download it if you have good connection. Otherwise, you can request somebody who already has a CD to.
You can put on a regular site that you are using.
Yeah, but that will heat the bandwidth. So we need something with very good bandwidth. Because if 10 people are downloading. See, when I put this software 2 weeks back, so far 2,000 people downloaded it. The 4 megabyte version. Maybe 56, not so many people will download. But if 10 people are downloading at the same time, the bandwidth will become huge. So it's not just space, but it's the bandwidth also.
Sure.
And a lot of sites they charge with the bandwidth you all exceed the.
It's pretty big, right? It's like 2 gig, 5 gig per month or something.
I don't know about this particular site
Okay.
that has the MP3 file. So it's safe to have a site where I don't have to. This site basically Sriram has to pay. So if it goes over, basically Sriram has to pay. But that site is totally free. So I will put it so you can download it. And also if you can download And if you can make copies of it and give it to other people in the class, that will be great. And I removed the license key feature. Earlier, when I gave you the CD, you had to ask me for a license key and I had to give you a license key. That is removed now. So this will be more convenient to have. If you have the CD, you can install it on any computer and use it. So try to download the latest, and also it has more features than what you had, what I gave you in May. There are more calculations and more corrections also. More correct calculations in some areas. So try to download it.
If you download it, will you just upgrade on what?
There is an upgrade option also. So if you go to the site, there is an upgrade link. Go to that upgrade link and try it. 99% it will work.
I have already upgraded my...
Okay.
So can I copy it and see?
That's messy. So the best thing is, actually if you copy the whole directory and copy it back, it will work. It will work.
There is no registry entry which needs to be...
No, there isn't. I was purposely not using anything. So you can just copy the whole thing, back it up in a CD, and then you can directly copy it. Then you don't install basically. You don't do setup.exe. Just copy. That will work.
File type,
Pardon me?
that .jhd has to be defined.
Oh, that does. Whenever you start Jehora.exe, it automatically registers the extension every time. So that is how most programs work. So you don't have to do it at the install time, even though you can. So that's not a problem. There are some files that are used in the C drive, the root C drive, all your preferences, color preferences, calculation preferences. So those files will be basically, you can copy them to the other computer or you will lose them. You will have to recreate. If you did customization of all these colors, if you don't like these default colors and customize all the colors, you will lose it. So you have to copy those files also in that case. And in any case, if you install freshly from a CD, you will lose them. Lose your customization. Anyway, so try to download the latest software and try to share it with other people. Just make one CD and share it with one person. That will help. If each person shares with somebody else, that will help. Then I don't have to make a lot of copies. So 7 months, that will be moon. Who's next? Who's more advanced? Amartya Karaka. Mars is 26 degrees 40 minutes advanced. So Mars. When will Mars give his results? From 1195 to 6. Yeah. Then who's next? Next Karaka Sun, but he's not one of the 7 planets. So ignore. Next Karaka is Karaka Saturn. Karaka Saturn. So moon from April 95 to November 95, Mars from November 95 to June 96, Saturn June 96 to
January 9.
6 plus 1, January 97.
Saturn, Rahu and Ketu are exactly.
Pardon me?
16.
Oh, but reverse.
Oh,
Their longitudes are counted from the end of the time. So Rahu, even though he looks like he's at 16 degrees 53 minutes, his advancement in the sign is 13 degrees 7 minutes. You have to subtract it from 30 degrees. So he loses out. So that's why Saturn wins as Matrakaraka, and the next slot of Pitrakaraka is taken by Rahu, not the other way. So Rahu, the next planet in the longitude order is Rahu, and he will give the results from January 97 to August 97, and then Ketu, who is at the same longitude.
In both are together, you take...
Not together, they are always in the same longitude.
Yeah, they are the same longitude.
So normally there are different views that I heard from elders. One is Rahu is always first. Ketu will always adjust and come next. That is one view. Other view is you can also look at the strength. If Ketu is, let us say, in Monotrikona or exaltation. Actually, if Ketu is exalted, Rahu is also exalted. But let's say Ketu is in a friend's house, maybe he will dominate. So you can experiment. But the bottom line is Rahu and Ketu are very alike anyway. So no. You are looking at only longitudes here. You are not looking at anything else. So Ketu's results will be from August 97 to March 98. And then we have covered 5 planets. 2 are left. Who are the 2? Mercury and Venus. Venus is at 7 degrees 54 minutes. He is Gnatikaraka. Mercury is Darakaraka, 3 degrees. So Mercury comes last. So Venus from March 98 to October 98. and Mercury. October 98 to, don't add 7 now, 7 months, because
April.
we have reached the end.
April 9.
So now round it, April 99, that's the end. So basically we are getting only 6 months for Mercury, but it's actually a little more if you look at the exact dates. Okay, so this is the list. This is the list of planets. Moon, Mars, for those who are listening to the audio, Moon, Mars, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Venus and Mercury, each getting roughly 7. Yes.
By default, this Atmakaraka, they are defined based on the longitude.
Yes, based on the longitude.
So
So if you look at them,
the
you
solid
get the
itself is made as part of.
Yes, yes. You can keep a list of planets made based on the Jaratarkatva, and then if you want to take 3 or 4 planets out of them, you can just take them in the order. You can so you can very quickly do that. Okay. Now, so now let us see each. Let us judge the results of each influence.
You can't click on the longitude and make them in the order.
Yeah. No, you can't. I'm going to make this software open source in a couple of years or so, and then people who are also software engineers, they can take over, and then they can start adding features.
Exactly.
If you like clicking on that and then starting out, add that feature. I can put that against your name.
Sure.
Okay.
Sheshu sort order.
That is a Seshu module for those features.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. What are the possible results in Moon? Moon and Dasa.
Moon is in 6th house. And is 11th house. We don't see the ownership of that house. We just see.
Pardon me? Now, see, let us refresh again. We are looking at these planets because in those periods, they will give the results of their association with Aries. This is after all Aries Dasa. So whatever impact they have on Aries, the result of that impact will be given during that period. So what is Moon's impact on Aries?
It's 11th house gain. No, gain.
Now you will see it's a position where he is, right? So he's owning 6th house having an effect on the
Not owning 6th house. He is owning 11th house. He is
He's
owning 11th house. He owns 11th house. He occupies the 6th house and he aspects 8th. He aspects Aries. So his aspect on Aries. Yeah. He brings the 11th house results to Aries. The 11th house results to Aries through 6th house. Because 6th house is where he is placed. So through the 6th house, he will bring the 11th house results to the 8th house.
which means he will get
To the Dasha basically.
that means he will get gains
Through
some obstacles too.
overcoming some obstacles or through service, through work.
Job.
Yeah, I had job earlier, but basically during this period, what happened actually?
Weekend is there.
I came back to US. I went back to India after my masters, and then I worked in India for a year. I went to Korea. I experimented with Korea for a few months, for 10 months, and then I decided to come back to US. I didn't want to go back to India, so I came to US. So during this period, I came to US, and then very soon after I came here, I wasn't happy with the place that I came with because I had to first come, and then I found another job in the same period. So I found a couple of jobs basically, So I used the first job I came as a stepping stone, and then found one more job very immediately. Within 3 months, I found another offer, and I was in the original job for just 6 months. So all that happened during that moon period. So he brought some gains relating to job, relating to 6th house can show job and service. If somebody is not in business,
Do you see the Ardhapadas here at all?
yeah, you can see Ardhapadas. But I'm basically making it simple so that we don't confuse with too many parameters. So if you just look at the
Exchange the results because Rahu is there. Like when you are looking.
No,
you don't.
not in this particular thing. In Vimshatri they will. Okay. Now, so that period is a period of gains. And what is the next period? Mars. November 95 to June 96. So, first of all, is it good or bad?
8th Lord in 8th house.
Yeah. Mars being in 8th house, Mars being in Aries, is it good or bad?
Bad.
Why? He's in own house.
Own house.
Yeah.
No, it's own house.
Mars being in 8 is in general bad. But as far as Aries Dasha is concerned, it benefits by Mars being there. Because he's the lord of the sign. So Mars period is a very good period. That is being the Lord basically, but the thing is it is also 8th house. So there will be changes etc. But good changes because it's the Lord who's in the house. So a lot of good changes in life etc. So it was during that time that actually the job that I found earlier, the visa was approved and I finally switched the job and all those things. And also
Were you married by this time?
long before.
You had a kid this time?
Yes. How did you guess best done?
A5.
A5. Good guess. I had a child in that period. Very good for me. Then, if you didn't understand it, just ignore it. Don't worry. You can ignore. You can assume that I didn't have a kid then. Then look at the next period, Saturn. June 96 to January 98. Saturn is in? Saturn is debilitated in Aries. Yeah. So Saturn being debilitated in Aries, is Aries happy about it? Not really. It's not really. Saturn's presence in that sign is not really uplifting that sign in any way. It's not really beneficial for that sign. Yeah, there is Nitya Bhanga Rajyoga, but bottom line is, actually Aries doesn't even care if Saturn is in Nicha or he is in Ucha. Aries, when Saturn is in a sign, the sign doesn't like Saturn. But he is the 5th lord. He is the 6th lord as well as 5th lord. So, it's not just Saturn, it is 5th lord and 6th lord being in Aries. So that result will come. So 5th lord being in the 8th house, will there be lot of occult learning? 8th house is also the house of occult learning. Right. If the 5th is the house of scholarship. If the 5th lord is in 8th house, there can be lot of scholarship during that period. So that period, during that particular period, Saturn can give lot of learning, scholarship, etc. But at the same time, being Saturn, being who he is, being in the 8th house, he can make health not so good. So overall, it's a bad period.
Kids' health, there could be some
because the 5th lord is in the 8th house. Yes.
Anxiety related to children.
There can be anxiety related to 5th house. Yes. And he is the 6th lord in the 8th house. Saturn is the 6th lord in the 8th house. Pardon me? Yeah, Viparita Rajayoga fine, but we are not really looking at yogas here. Basically, the 6th lord is in that sign. Forget that Aries is 8th house for a moment. Aries contains Shani, the 6th lord. So, as the 5th lord in that sign, he gave scholarship. As the 6th lord in that sign, can he give some kind of accident? 6th house can give accident. If there is a link between 6th lord and 8th lord, there can be accident. Of course, that's a Viparita Rajayoga. One car is broken and you buy a giant car. That's Viparita. You can look at it as Viparita Rajayoga, but 6th lord in 8th is actually not so good. It can give accidents also. 8th lord in 6th or 6th lord in 8th. So, during that time, I had a vehicular accident during the Saturn Antardasha. So, all the Saturnine results came basically. Then Rahu. What are the results possible in Rahu's Antardasha?
Same as Moon?
More or less, but he is not 11th lord. He is the 6th lord in 6th house. Moon is uncomfortably placed in Aquarius, but Rahu is comfortably placed in Aquarius. It is his own sign. Aquarius is owned by Rahu. So the 6th lord is nicely placed in the 6th house and then he is aspecting 8th house. So there is a difference between 6th lord debilitated in the 8th house and 6th lord being strong in the 6th house and aspecting that house. So what will you say about that particular Antardasha? What will Rahu's aspect on Aries show?
Come out from all trouble.
Pardon me?
More troubles.
Is it troubles? Rahu is in one sign. He is strong. So, and 6th house is the house of? 6th house is the house of?
Enmity,
Success or enemies.
Success over enemies. If the 6th lord is strong, that means you will have obstacles to overcome. But you will overcome them.
Yeah.
So, it's not smooth sailing basically. If you have a strong 6th lord in the 6th, it is not smooth sailing, but it will be successful sailing. Successful sailing, though things will be hard. So that is a period of working hard, overcoming a lot of obstacles, and then, yeah, in the service, all this in the service.
In the end, he would have gained in this particular.
In the end, yeah.
The 11th house.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the 11th house, what? What 11th house?
11th to Aries.
Okay, Rahu is in the 11th from Aries and aspecting Aries. Yeah, that's a good point, but we don't really look at houses from Aries. Because Aries is not Lagna, it is just Narayana Dasha sign. If you remember our earlier discussions, in the Aries Dasha, the Lagna, the progress Lagna is actually Libra. Aries is the 7th house, progress 7th house, not Lagna. So, yeah, you don't take Aries as Lagna and look at it. So, that's not a valid point. But, being the 6th Lord in the 6th house, aspecting the 8th house, he can give some anxiety and some obstacles, but successfully overcoming them and successfully fighting with the enemy, successful fight back. So nothing really special happened then. I was working hard, I was working well. And Ketu, what will Ketu's results show? Ketu aspecting the Aries. Ketu is?
Third Lord.
Yeah. He is third Lord in 12th house. So he is the third Lord. What does third show? Third is communication, short travel. So there can be a lot of travel. He is aspecting the Dasha sign. So during that period there can be lot of travel, or lot of initiative, lot of boldness, and also lot of communication. And Ketu is basically in the 12th house of moksha. Moksha Karaka is in the house of moksha. So will this period also bring spirituality, a lot of spirituality? Yes. So all the spirituality increase, the religiousness increase, the pujas, etc., they increase during that particular period. And also it was during that period that I first appeared on the internet discussing astrology. There was a Jyotish list, there was a list for astrology called Jyotish list. I was actively participating exactly from that period, from around September or so in 1997. I joined that list and I used to make a lot of postings. And that is where I met my guru, Pandit Sanjay Raj. It was actually during that period that I met my guru, Pandit Sanjay Raj. So I met my guru. Basically, Ketu shows parampara. Ketu is a significator for parampara. So Ketu's aspect on Aries can show. Aries is 8th house. 8th house is not only troubles but occult knowledge. So some parampara relationships coming relating to occult knowledge is possible, spirituality is possible, and communication definitely. Definitely that was the period when I communicated a lot. And towards the end of that period, around February 98 or so, I felt I was mistreated compared to some person that I was arguing with, and I was being blocked, and I was angry, and I left that particular list for that period. And the writing activity basically slowed down. But exactly in Ketu period, the writing activity was very strong during that period. So this period gave the results of Ketu, 12th house Ketu, third Lord Ketu, and Ketu being Ketu, the Parampara Ketu, Vedic knowledge and Parampara significator Ketu. So all that was given in Ketu's period.
So
and now
should have the Ketu influence on the 8th house in last year during the time frame when we started the class?
we'll see, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
But we didn't write much, we didn't communicate much.
No, but that's not a third one, but it's an influence of Ketu.
Yeah, we'll see later. Yeah. Now Venus. What will Venus show?
Venus is in Aries.
Venus is the 9th Lord. He's and the second Lord. He's the second Lord and 9th Lord, and he is in Aries. So, is he good?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's good.
Venus being in Aries is good. For Venus it may be bad. Being the 9th Lord, he may not like Aries. He may prefer to be somewhere else. If you give him a choice, he will be in Pisces. He will love to be in Pisces. Or he will settle with Libra or Taurus also. But he hates Aries. So Venus himself is not happy about being in Aries. So when you are judging Aries, Venus Dasha, when you are judging the house occupied by him, then there may be bad results. But as far as Aries is concerned, he's excited that Venus came there. And he's sad that Saturn came there. Saturn himself may be good, happy being in Aries because he has Nitipanga Raj Yoga. But Aries hates Saturn being there. But it loves Mercury and Venus. They are really nice guys. If two nice guys come to your house, you are happy about it. The ninth guy may look at your house and you may think, oh, what a house, why did I come here? But still, the house is happy and the house is benefited by their presence. So that's the idea. So So in Venus part of Aries Dasha, when Venus gives his results, the good results that Venus either signifies or owns, the results of the houses owned by Venus and the results of the significations of Venus will be felt. So what are those results? Second house, so more resource, being more resourceful, more money, accumulating more money, and what else? Ninth house. So protection, fortune, and Guru, lot of guidance. Venus being the ninth lord, being in Aries, he can give lot of guidance. So in the previous Antardasha, I wrote a lot on Jyotish list, and then Sanjay ji, he joined that list. And in the beginning, he was talking about, no, actually, as per Gemini, he is the Karaka. Actually, we use sUH17 Dasha. So because 8th house Dasha is running, there will be instability. Like that, he was saying things that I never heard. He was using Arurapadas, he was using Charakarkas. I was wondering, who is this? First I thought, he's a weird guy. Because he's changing everything that I know. First I thought he was some kind of weird guy. But later I became interested. Then I realized, based on reading what he was saying, he wasn't making as many postings on the list. He was making very few postings every few days. And I was posting so many things every day. I was very active. And he looked at my post and he was interested. This guy seems to be a reasonably intelligent guy. And I was interested in him. I saw his postings and I thought, it will be nice if I can learn all these things from this guy. So all that happened in Ketu period. I communicated with him. He communicated with me. And it was in April, I think April 7th or 8th, beginning of April basically, 1998, when he finally sent me a mail saying he was accepting me as a student. I was his second student. The first student was somebody known as Ashok Kaushik, and now he has hundreds of students. I was the second student of his, and he accepted me in April, as soon as Venus Dasha came. And not only did he accept, but he spent a lot of time communicating with me. He devoted some time to me, and I was asking questions on the internet. I was talking to him on the phone. So I got a lot of guidance during that period. That's because Venus is the ninth lord of guidance and Guru. Then Mercury. October 98 to April 99. This is basically the results of Mercury. Is it, first of all, good or bad?
Because
Why bad?
Lagna Lord in the 8th house, the health is...
Again, forget that 8th house. He is Lagna Lord. 8th house, Aries itself is 8th house. So the whole Aries Dasha will be the 8th house result.
Oh, okay.
But Mercury influence, when it comes, that is uplifting for Aries, just as Venus influence. So Mercury is the first lord and 10th lord. So good health, good career, etc. So doing well in the job, and it's a overall positive period. So that was a good period. So now this is done. Let us go to, actually let me close it. Do I want to save it now?
Okay, that's how we see.
So this is the first 1/4. We finished on only. You have any question?
Now, Lagna Lord being in 8th, I thought it is bad. But as far as Aries is concerned, it is good for Aries for itself.
Within that Dasha, it is a good influence.
Yes.
For Aries,
Okay.
having the Lagna Lord is a good influence.
Okay.
So any sign that has Lagna Lord will give good health. But not the whole period. If it is 8th house, then when the portion of the 8th house results giving comes, when the portion comes where it gives the results of being 8th house, then it will give bad results. When the portion comes where it gives the result of Mercury occupying it, Lagna Lord occupying it, it will give good health. You see what I am saying? So there are so many parameters. What I am saying is, the peak of each parameter will come at a particular predestined period. So that is basically what we are doing. So when did we say Aries gives its result? Being the 8th house? Yes. In the last 1/3. Mercury, sorry, not Mercury. Aries is a Pushtodaya Rasi, so it will give the results of Aries itself in the last 1/3. So from 2003 April till 2007 July, April, that is when Aries will give the result of being 8th house. So I have to be careful about my health during this period. Actually, for the last 1 year, my health is not really great. And there are various other reasons also for it. But this is when the 8th house results will be experienced. But not in the previous period. And now let us go to the middle 1/3. That will be interesting. In the middle 1/3, from Leo to Scorpio Antardashas, Leo, Virgo, Libra and Scorpio, this 1/3, whose results are experienced?
House Lord.
Mars results, the house lord. So what are the results Mars gives? Let us use the 4-part rule again. Divide that 1/3 into 4 equal parts. So Mars is benefic or malefic? No doubt, right? Good. So Mars will give the result of his state in the first 1/3. First 1/3 will be the result of state. So
Good state.
what is the state? Yeah, he has moderate Vichabala, but his own house. He is in Mola Trikona. Mars is in Mola Trikona, so there is an excellent strength. And what else? There may be several other avasthas. If you see, just for the sake of completeness, if we see the Ainadi avastha, again, he is in Ritilipsa avastha. Mars is also in the Ritilipsa avastha, so he is also very active state, basically, energetic. So, overall he has a good state. He's a strong planet. So what does it mean? What does it mean? It is basically 8th Lord in 8th house in strength, basically. So this particular strength being in Mola Trikona, that basically gives good results, very good results relating to 8th house and also relating to Martian matters, the significations of Mars. So overall, this is a good period. Being a planet in Mola Trikona in the 8th house, he will give good occult knowledge, lot of occult knowledge. Overall, health is also good, everything is good, very straightforward, because Mars is giving Savla Yoga. And I said that yogas, the result of yogas is given in the second one quarter for malefic planets. But Savla Yoga is not a yoga between two planets. It's a yoga given by Mars himself. If Mars is in Mola Trikona, if Mars is in own house in the 8th house, he gives Savla Yoga. Any planet in 8th house, if he is in own sign, it will give Savla Yoga. Any planet in 6th house in own house will give Harsha Yoga. Any planet in 12th house in own house will give Himala Yoga. So here Mars is giving Savla Yoga. So that result is also experienced. It's basically because of his state that yoga came. He's in one house, in that particular house. So overall, this is a period where I'll be very straightforward, where I'll be lending a lot of occult knowledge. Overall, a good period. Now look at the second one quarter. What are the results given in the second 1 quarter? What are the results given in the second 1 quarter? The yogas of Mars. Again, in the good period or bad period? It's a good period. Mars, why is it a good period? That house. Jupiter was forming yoga. What about Mars? What about Mars? Is he forming yoga? He is forming a Viparita Raj Yoga with Saturn. Being the 8th Lord with the 6th Lord, he is forming Viparita Raj Yoga.
He's got a yoga with Jupiter too.
Yeah. He is Amartikarka. What Raj Sambandha Yoga?
Important person in King's Court.
No. What is the combination? That's the result. Which is Raj Sambandha Yoga?
Amartyakaraka conjoining 10th Lord.
Okay. Amartikarka conjoining 10th Lord, also Amartikarka in one sign. So there are 2 Raj Sambandha Yogas that is Mars is giving. So basically, one yoga that Mars has is Rajasambandha Yoga, which is given by Parashara. If Amartikaraka and 10th Lord are together or aspecting each other, he will be an important person in a king's court. I was not an important person in any king's court, but during that period, I was an important person in my group. Basically, I guess my manager is a king, and I was an important person in his court. So basically, because of that yoga, things will go well in the career, because he is with 10th Lord, Amartikaraka, with 10th Lord. So things will go well in career, there will be recognition in the workplace, become an important person in the team, a key person in the team. So all those things are possible during that 1 quarter, that 1 quarter of 1/3. What else? He is also with the 9th Lord, 8th Lord with the 9th Lord.
And what is that balance with Vedic yoga too?
Pardon me? Yeah, right.
Which is with
Being in the second from Sun. Being in second from Sun is Vesi Yoga. Guru Mangal Yoga also is there. So all these results will be given. Vesi is basically any planets apart from Moon and Nodes. If they are in the second from Sun, it's called Vesi Yoga. And you can read the results, balanced, truthful and happy. I mean, you should not use these as capsules. You should not tell people, you will be balanced, because he has Vedic yoga. Look at other things also. That will be more balanced. Look at development. But basically, it's a good yoga. The planet is in the second from sun. So bottom line is all these results of the good yogas will be given by Mars. But in the case of Mars, it's not only good yoga. There are negative yogas also. What are the negative yogas? He's afflicting. He's the 8th lord and he's afflicting 5th lord and 9th lord and 1st lord. All the trinal lords are being afflicted by Mars. He's a malefic planet who's afflicting all the trinal lords. Right? Does everybody understand that?
How close they are,
How close they are, exactly. So that's what you have to look at. Are they really that close? Because when we are talking about affliction of the 8th lord to 9th lord, for example, how close they are? Who is the closest to Mars? You have to look at the longitudes for that. Mars is at 27 degrees roughly. He's in the 27th degree of Aries. And Saturn is in the 16th degree of Aries. He is at 15 degrees 6 minutes. And Mercury is at the beginning 3 degrees and Venus is at around 8 degrees. So the good planets are actually far away. It is Saturn who is closest. And even though Saturn is the 5th lord also, he is 6th lord too. So the Viparita Raj Yoga is actually giving stronger results. So otherwise, with the same combination, if the longitudes were different, if Mars was, let's say, close to Mercury, you could have actually predicted during that period problems in career. But here, because those bad yogas are weak and the strong yoga is, good yogas are stronger, the Viparita yoga is stronger, you basically predict that there will be good results. And more importantly, if you see, remember this, if Badhaka Lord or the 8th Lord is associated with the Lagna Lord, 5th Lord, 9th Lord, etc., the person can settle abroad during that period. So, it was during that period that I got my green card. Because Mars is the 8th Lord, he is a very strong Lord, strong planet, and he is afflicting 9th Lord, he is afflicting 5th Lord, he is afflicting Lagna Lord. So, his affliction on all the trinal lords will show being displaced. I am settling here means I am displaced from my motherland. So, you can look at it negatively also. I may be making money, but you can look at it negatively also. So, if you see 8th Lord afflicting trinal lords, or Badhaka Lord afflicting trinal lords, that can actually show settling abroad also. So, during that period, I also got my green card. Now, the next one quarter, 2001 April to 2002 April, the third quarter of Mars results, the large results. So that will give the results of, what will be the results?
Own house.
Own house? Yes, own house. The houses that Mars owns. What are the houses Mars owns?
Third and 8th.
Third and 8th Lord. Now forget the fact that he is in own house, he is strong in the 8th house. We don't care. We don't care about his state. Forget the fact that he is with all these nice planets. Forget it. Just being the 3rd Lord and 8th Lord, being in that sign, Dasha sign, what are the results he will give? What kind of results are they?
Right, lot of
3rd house can be lot of writing. Can it be changes? 8th house can be lot of changes in life. And 3rd house can show buying a house.
Buying a vehicle also, right?
Buying a vehicle, excellent. 3rd house is the 12th from 4th. So it's a big investment on 4th house. So if you see a strong 3rd house, especially with Martian connection, that can result in buying real estate or buying house, buying property, etc. Mars is the Karaka for buying houses, taking a loan and buying a house, or putting a big investment and buying a house. Mars is the Karaka for that. And 4th house is the house and Vyaya, the house of expenditure from that is the 3rd. 4th house shows basically comfort. When somebody buys a house, don't expect the 4th house to be strong, 4th house to come out. It may come out sometime, but 4th house is the house of Sukha. If somebody bought a house, moved into that house, had to live with instability, buy things, etc. for a year, don't expect the 4th house to be involved because he's not enjoying. He may be enjoying, but he's basically going through expenses for that house. So it will be the 3rd house. So in general, Mars being the 3rd and 8th Lord, life will have lot of instability. But being the 3rd and 8th Lord also placed in a Dusthana. Had he been 3rd and 8th Lord being placed in a good house, it would have been bad. but third and eighth lord also being placed in a Dusthana is good. So, as the third and eighth lord, he will give corresponding results, but he will give good results corresponding to those, not bad results. So, there will be a lot of instability in life, but in a positive way. Okay? So, during that particular period, I changed my job. Can third and eighth houses show change in job?
Yes.
Yeah, we saw a lot of examples in the past. So, there were changes in the job, and I changed my job, and I bought a new house. I moved to a different place. So, there was a lot of instability in life as a result of all these things. We basically, during this Dasha, the house was constructed. Sometime in March, they started constructing the house, and we got the house to our hand at the end of July. We moved in August. So, during this whole period, we were buying things. We were adjusting to basically living in the new house during this whole year. So, this year was a year of instability, as you would expect from third and eighth house. And finally, the next Antardasha, the last Antardasha in Mars period, the last 1 quarter of the period when Mars will give his results. What are the results? What result will Mars give?
Where is he occupying?
The house he is occupying. He will give the result of Mars being in 8th house. Now, is it good or bad? Why?
He is in his own house.
He already had enough chances to give good results. See, let me put it this way. Mars being in 8th house is bad. But Mars being in own house is good. Mars being in 8th house in own house is good. So there are so many different ways of dicing it. So out of those, now this period is the opportunity for Mars to give the result of just being Mars in the 8th house. So in this particular period,
Health problems.
there can be health problems, and Mars being in the 8th house, there will be lot of problems basically. It's a problematic period. And what Karaka is Mars? What Charkarka is he? Does anybody remember? Amartya Karaka. If Amartya Karaka is in the 8th house, is it good for career or bad for career? It's a troublesome period in career. Amartya Karaka in the 8th house. But the interesting thing is all the previous periods were good. Only when the time came for him to give the result of his placement, then he showed the colors of being Mars in 8th house. For a moment he forgot that it was his own house. But again, it will not be destruction because he's in own house. You can't ignore that fact. But what I am saying is all those factors will always be there. But one factor will peak out during that particular period. So Mars being in the 8th will peak out during that period. But suppose Mars was in the 8th house, he was the 7th lord in 8th house. Suppose Lagna was Libra and Mars was the 7th lord in the 8th house, Taurus. Then it will be terrible. But here it's not so terrible. So like I said earlier, there is a range of results possible. So within that range, things will bottom out. So in this period, Mars will be simply a planet in the 8th house, and he will give bad results, but not very bad because he is in one house. So can there be troubles relating to brothers because he is Karaka for brothers? Can there be troubles relating to career because he is Amartya Karaka? So all these different things are possible. I didn't have any trouble relating to brothers, but I had trouble relating to career. During this period, in 2002 August, the company that I was working for, in the previous Antardasha, I left Pictatel. They were telling me, please stay next 1 year is 6 months to 1 year is extremely important for Pictatel. Please stay. If you want, you can work from home for a couple of days. This is going to be too far for the new house you are going to buy. Please stay. We will give you a counter offer. I said, forget it. No, they are giving me money. It's not just money. I said they are giving me more money. They said, we'll give you how much? I said, no, it's not money. Actually, I want to move. I want to move on. It's a startup. They are giving me a lot of stock options. So I just said, no, I'm not going to stay with Pictatel. I left. And then I worked hard during a period of 1.5 years. Everybody did it for their startup. Once the product was ready, they basically laid off a lot of people in a big chunk of the engineering team at the company, and they went into a hibernation mode for a while. They weren't really doing that much for a while. Actually, one person in the class is still working at that company. So basically, I lost my job. I was laid off, and then I was working from home for a company in Atlanta. But again, there was a lot of instability. I had to travel a lot. More than engineering, I was doing partly engineering, partly managing a team in Bangalore, and partly interfacing with the customers. So I wasn't completely happy with what I was doing. It was more dynamic than I wanted the job to be. So there was a lot of Mars in 8 can also show a lot of dynamism. Mars is the planet of dynamism, and 8 is the house of changes. So when Mars is in the 8th house, he can show a lot of changes, dynamic situations, etc. So, but I wasn't very happy. I wasn't very happy with my job. So during that period, there was some trouble in the career, but it wasn't terrible because Mars is in one house. So this is how you interpret the last part. You divide into 4 parts and you interpret. The last the last 1/3. This will give the results of Aries itself. So what are the results? It is the sixth house from. It is a malefic sign. That is the 6th from Arudha Lagna. Just as I told you earlier, planets. If a malefic planet is in 3rd or 6th from Arudha Lagna, it is good. If a benefic planet is in the 6th from Arudha Lagna, it is bad. 3rd or 6th from Arudha Lagna is bad for a benefic planet. Similarly, when you are looking at just signs, ignoring planets, for a benefic sign to be in the 6th or 3rd from Arudha Lagna is bad. It shows losses. Materially. Bad in the, yes, exactly, materially. If somebody is a saint, if you are looking at the chart of a supposed saint, then benefics in the 3rd and 6th are actually not bad, they are good. If they are malefics in the 3rd or 6th from Arudha Lagna, during that time he will be perceived to be a materialistic person or successful material person. He will be perceived as not a saint. So Mercury and Jupiter or Venus in the 3rd or 6th from Arudha Lagna will give material losses or giving up material things. So it is good for a spiritual person, but materially it is bad. And for me, not exactly renunciation. Renunciation needs Sabradha Yogas. It's not renunciation, but it is being very saintly, adjusting. When somebody hits you, you don't hit them back. You said, okay, fine, I'll just go away. So that is basically Mercury or Venus or Jupiter being in the 3rd or 6th from Arudha Lagna. It's basically the image of being somebody very saintly, very soft. So that is what benefits in the 3rd and 6th from Arudha do. So when I said it's bad, I said from a material perspective. It depends on, whenever you look at any principle based on Arudha Lagna, Arudha is about images. And images and status, they are quite material. So they depend on who you are. So Desha Kala Patra will change. When you are looking from Lagna, it is the true you. So all the combinations are stationary. They don't change from time to time, place to place. But when you look at Arudha Lagna, the results of various combinations are Desha Kala Patra dependent. So malefics in the 3rd and 6th is good materially, I said. And similarly for signs also it is the same. And Aries is a malefic sign because Mars owns it. It's a malefic sign. So Aries being in the 6th from Arudha Lagna is good. So it is good for material success. And from the Lagna itself, it is the 8th house. So being the 8th house from Lagna, it is good for occult studies, but bad for health. There can be health problems, there can be tension about health, there can be anxiety about health. So these are the results. And from Moon, Chandra Lagna, it is 3rd house. So mentally, from the point of view of mind, it is the 3rd house. So what are the results of 3rd house? Communication, but I'm talking about mind. Initiative, mind, lot of mental energy basically. At the mental level, lot of energy to do things. So that is another thing that you will see. So these are all the influences. These are various things you use. And also you can look at the signs that are aspecting. What are the signs that are aspecting Aries? Aquarius is aspecting 6th house, so a lot of fights. 3rd house is aspecting, so a lot of communication. 12th house is aspecting, so a lot of giving and losses. So all these results will be experienced from 2003 April to 2007 April. So during these 4 years, all these various results will be experienced. And again, to further divide the period of the sign into various portions and see when which result will be experienced. I don't really know any consistent principle, so I will not go into that. So when it comes to sign, you can't get further insight, further clarity. But for the Lord and the association, you can use the principles that I outlined today and get further clarity on this. So this is something more than Antardashas themselves, using Antardashas. This particular principle is something that works pretty consistently. So you can try it in a lot of charts.
You will try always in Rasi or on any divisional chart also?
Any divisional chart Narayana Dasha also this will work. We will see some examples of divisional chart Narayana Dasha in a later class. Then you have to focus on that particular area, like career or learning or something. So we'll do a few examples in a later class. But for now, go home and look at your own chart, look at the Narayana Dasha, try to use this 3 parts rule and try to judge it. And you can see, by the way, you can see some information on this in Sanjay Ji's book Narayana Dasha, and you can see some information on the Vedic astrology Yahoo group. But don't be surprised if there are some inconsistencies or some way, in some places there are some changes between what I am teaching and what is already given. Sanjay Ji is very well known for intentionally giving different kinds of input so that people have to work hard to actually pass it and understand what is the correct knowledge. He doesn't like spoon feeding. I love spoon feeding, but Sanjay Ji hates spoon feeding. So he intentionally slightly misrepresents things in a few places. But this is basically the most authentic teaching of his to me privately, and also this is what he privately uses, and this is what he taught me, and also this is what I find working in practice. So that is why I am teaching you. So don't be confused if you see something slightly different somewhere else on the Yahoo group. You may see something slightly different even from me. Even though I like spoon feeding, sometimes I also used to intentionally confuse. Yeah, even recently, instead of giving 4-part rule, I divided the last period into 3 parts and then wrote something on the Vedic astrology Yahoo group. But those who are just trying to get the right knowledge will basically, they will go through everything, they will put some effort and they will get the right knowledge. But don't be confused if you see some inconsistencies. This is what works, and try it in examples. Okay? So with that I will end the class for today. We'll meet same time, same place next week. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Smaran